It's another day. It's the end of another day, and I'm here in Luxembourg City, um, the capital of a small country which I previously knew almost nothing about. I learned today that there is actually a language called Luxembourgish, although surprisingly it only became recognized as a language a couple of decades ago. um, as most people here in Luxembourg actually speak French. So, French, German, and Luxembourg, and a bit of English are kind of the main languages here. and It's an interesting little place. Um, it's a very very small country. I'll probably cycle out of it tomorrow, so it's going to take me about 2 days to cross it. It's only a few hundred kilometers across. And as I was riding into Luxembourg City late this afternoon, I was just kind of shocked by how few people there were. Like it was the capital city, and there was almost no traffic. It was really nice, actually, and a nice little kind of peaceful little city. And yeah, like I got into the CBD and there were some people walking around. Like there was a bit going on, but it was not anything like some of the bigger cities I've been to, like Berlin, for example, or Amsterdam. Nothing like that. But Anyway, like today was a really great day, and it started off a bit frosty and foggy this morning, so everything was nice and wet again when I woke up. Um, and I knew today I only had to do about 65 k's to get to Luxembourg City, so I was in really no rush at all. But even still, because there was a couple of other bike travelers at the shit, I nearly pushed the bench over. Yeah, but there was a couple of other bike travelers at the little campsite I was staying at, and I think just having them there made me feel like I needed to rush, so I wasn't the last person to leave the camp. And I kept telling myself, you don't need to race these people. Like, they're going completely different journeys to you, and they don't need to go 65 kilometers a day. Maybe they need to go like 100 kilometers. So don't worry about it. But still, I couldn't shake it. I just couldn't shake this feeling like I had to race them. But even still, like, because I was trying not to go fast, but I was still kind of stressing about being the last person there. I did end up being the last person at the camp, and I didn't feel good about it either. So I should have just freaking ignored them and done my own thing. Anyway, so I ended up kind of leaving the camp a little bit frazzled because I was the last person, and I went into town looking for someone to get breakfast because I didn't have any breakfast left. And went into a little bakery and got some croissants and a little like apple Danish, which was really nice. And then I ended up going to a supermarket because I wanted some more food. For the rest of the day, I didn't have any lunch, so I faffed around for quite a while, and I didn't really end up getting on the road until 10:30 or 11 or something, which was fine because I had so much time. It really didn't matter. But I just couldn't shake this feeling that I needed to get on the road and get rushing and get ahead, but it really didn't matter. And So I had breakfast, and then pretty much straight after that was up the big hill of the day, which was about 500 meters, so it wasn't really that big. And kind of as I was going up the hill, I passed a lady on my right, and she was on the side of the road, and I kind of waved to her, but then she like kind of shouted and asked me to come back, which I did. And she had a bit of what I thought was a Kiwi accent, but it turns out she was South African. And she actually thought I was South African as well, but no, sadly not. Yeah, everyone keeps telling me I sound South African, but I don't really know how or why that happened because I've never been there. Maybe I should, and then I might actually fit in. But yeah, she had basically gotten lost, and she was asking where the right way to go. And we ended up chatting for probably 15 minutes, sharing our tales of the road. And she was on a similar route to me. She's on the Eurovelo 5. She's starting in Belgium and heading down to Milan. Apparently, Milan was the cheapest flight back to South Africa, interestingly enough. And yeah, in the end, like she was on a bloody dual suspension mountain bike, so she was going pretty slow. But she was there for mountain biking, really. So there wasn't really any chance of us riding together because we were just too unevenly matched, I guess, on our beasts. So I ended up saying farewell to her and headed off and didn't see her again. Although soon enough I did end up overtaking one of the guys who was at my camp in the morning, and this was a guy who was like in the full lycra and he had the full like lightweight bike packing setup on his like carbon road bike, and I sped past him and I wanted to talk to him actually, but turns out he only speaks French, so we couldn't actually talk, so I just had to keep going, unfortunately. But it just goes to show that there's no point to rush and there's no point to race against people who aren't even racing against you, so it's just so stupid. But yeah, the rest of the day was a lot of like ups and downs and hills, and the sun came out and it was very hot again. And late in the afternoon, I stopped for about an hour or maybe even longer and just like took out all my stuff and managed to dry everything I had from the morning, and had a really nice long lunch. And I still had plenty of time to get to Luxembourg City, which was really nice. Like today was just super cruisy. Didn't need to rush at all. So I ended up getting into the city here at about 4 o'clock, and I had agreed to meet with my host at 5. So I still had a while to spare. So I ended up sitting in the park for a bit, and then went and got an ice cream, which was really expensive. Turns out Luxembourg is a really expensive country. And then I went and got us some beers at the supermarket. So we had some beers to drink together. And then I came here and met with my host, Seren, who she's actually from Turkey. And so she's given me a bunch of tips of things to do when I get to Turkey, which is really cool. And she's actually going there in November, so maybe I'll actually see her there when I get there. But unfortunately, she had plans tonight with some friends. She's going to play some board games, and there wasn't an extra seat at the table for me. Not that I could really be bothered going, to be honest. So I've got the apartment to myself tonight. I'm just about to have dinner, which I'm looking forward to, and we might do a bit of sightseeing tomorrow morning. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, we'll see. Looking forward to having a bed to sleep in tonight and continuing the adventure tomorrow. So that's about it. I've done about 500 Ks so far from Amsterdam. So I guess I've got about 2,500 left. Cool.